Hi everyone, this week's assignment is landscape collage and working in a series. You should watch the PowerPoint if you haven't already because I break down all those ideas for you. Landscape should be somewhat familiar, although I know we haven't talked about it a ton. You worked on those interior-exterior drawings, and the exterior space is what we consider landscape. So for this project, I want you to think about what's necessary to show landscape. What objects point towards an outside space, right? You don't always need to have a completely rendered full drawing of what's in front of you to show what's there. So I want you to think about the nuggets or important parts of what can be shown to show that, hey, this is a landscape. So, as you should know at this point, a series is a grouping of works that are related to one another. They can be sequential or non-sequential, but they're basically operating under the same theme or general idea. For this project, to make it easier for you to think about series, I want you to, before you do anything else, to pick a theme for you to guide this series of sort of what's necessary to represent a landscape. So the theme that you choose could be a color, it could be a mood, it could be a place, right? So say that your theme you choose is orange or sunset. That's something that you could do, and that would be something that would sort of guide you in how to make or represent your landscapes. So first pick that. Your drawings need to be at least half a sheet of 11 by 13 paper, but can be larger if you want. And yep, so there's that. And then I want to talk to you about collage materials, or as I referred to them in the PowerPoint, source material. They're pretty varied, and it doesn't have to just be clippings from magazines or newspapers, as I think is commonly sort of what's thought to be collage material. This is sort of from my bank or stored collection of things I collage with, so I just wanted to show you some examples of stuff that you can find around you, because I know that we're limited to where we can go. So I have, ribbon, piece of an old box top, a stick, plastic I found outside, string, a fabric scrap, plastic, a rock, pretty flat rock, that way I can glue it to the surface, more fabric, an old chip clip. So again, magazine and newspaper clippings are fine, but you can use tons of other stuff that are just around you. Granola bar wrappers, old homeworks, dust bunnies underneath your couch, whatever kind of excites you materially. This is a project that I want you to think about as sort of an investigation or an experiment into delving into new materials that can supplement a drawing. So have fun with this and find things that you want to work with. In terms of adhering these things to the surface, obviously you can use glue or tape. You could use bubble gum, you could use thread, you could stitch pieces on. You can be creative with how you adhere. Paint also works. If you find that you have literally nothing around you to stick objects to a surface, you can also just place them on the page and then snap a picture and submit that. So kind of one of the advantages of working and submitting online is that you can do that. All right. So that covers collage materials and how you can put them on surfaces. So as you move into thinking about what a landscape is or what's necessary to point towards this idea of landscape, go back and look at the images in the PowerPoint if you need to just sort of refresh. But as you'll see, those are a little bit atypical for what you might expect to see as you look out your window, right? There's one that has eyes in it. There's also one that's just comprised of leaves and contour lines of hills. But we get this feel or sense of a landscape because we're so used to seeing foliage in the distance or rolling hills. So having that in mind, approach these landscapes with that kind of sense. You don't need to observe anything for these, just sort of find those materials and think about the shapes that are kind of iconic to you in a landscape and use those to make your collage. This is an example I started just to show you one idea of how to think about doing this. They're clips or images I found in an old National Geographic of different landscape elements, and then I started to draw in my own, and I found this sort of green bubble wrap that reminded me of rolling hills or mountains and cut it into that curving sort of shape. So I have all these little elements that are pointing towards a landscape, but it's not just looking at a landscape and drawing exactly what I see. I'm just pulling out little parts that I want to focus on. And as you work in a series, you'll get to do 2 drawings that sort of continue whatever theme it is that you're specifically thinking. So in this one, I'm not sure, but you could say like a water could be a governing theme in the drawing. And then it would carry over into the second part of my series. So I hope you have fun with this project. I think it's a pretty fun one to kind of wrap up or start to wrap up the semester on. It's one where I think I want you to really just push yourself to experiment and have fun. You can add drawing and painting elements back into your collage to sort of synthesize or ground the 2 together a little bit more. And remember, collages still deal with all of the compositional stuff that we've talked about. So how you place things on a page and moving the eye around. You're still thinking about value, right? Like if you have a completely dark collage, it's going to be harder to see specific elements. So maybe one element will be a little bit lighter and we'll pay more attention to that one. So you still have all those governing, guiding elements to sort of help you think about how to compose this. So these 2 collages are due on Thursday. And one other note about this week, remember that proposals are also due. You need to have those to me. You're getting graded on submitting them. They're also essential for sort of framing out what you're going to be working on next week. So you got to get those in. Also, remember you need to comment in order to get homework points. If you're having trouble commenting, by that I mean if you're commenting and it isn't showing up, you need to let me know as soon as possible so we can work to fix that. If you're not sure what that means, you should just comment and then go back to check to make sure it's still there. Some people are having problems with it not being visible. But if you don't let me know, I can't help you. So, all right. I know that's a lot, but I think this will be a fun project for the week. And remember, you can always reach out to me if you have questions about this. Oh, one more thing. I'm not scheduling another round of Zoom conferences, but if you would like to talk to me, please email me. If you'd like to talk via Zoom, email me and we'll set something up. I'm not doing a mass one again because only one person signed up. So, but please, if you want to be in touch, and I would love to talk to you in person if you have any questions or want more feedback. All right, have a great week.